Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on what coast you live on. Hurricane Dorian still going on. This is a Cat 2 hurricane now, 110 mile an hour, 958 millibars, and it's finally moving northwest at 2 miles an hour, although very slightly. It's still a dangerous storm. As you can see there on the radar, it finally is making that, it's starting to move again. And what we're seeing, even though it's, just a Cat 2 hurricane, we're seeing some little bit of storm surge, but more wave action here along the eastern seaboard here of Florida. You're getting some good beach erosion. You're getting some strong showers up there in Daytona Beach. And this is just the outer bands of Dorian. It looks like it's going to miss coming ashore anywhere along here for now, so we'll see if that continues. But look at that loop. Lots of action on the north side of the storm. We're seeing a lot on the southern side yesterday, so we'll keep an eye out for that. You can still see it looks kind of ragged here on the southwest side. The reason for that is there's upper level winds coming in like this, and some drier air feeding into the storm. The drier air is what kills these storms, but with it moving out over water, that may help to not necessarily strengthen the storm, but keep it at this same kind of intensity, and won't let it, it'll counteract that dry air. So rather than killing the storm, it'll help keep it the same because it is over water that's warmer. So we'll just keep an eye on that and, just kind of see how this thing churns here. So here's the path of it. It's going to go up. It's going to get real close to the Carolinas here. We'll see if it makes a landfall. This is Tropical Depression 7. It's going to go into Mexico, it looks like, maybe affect southern Texas. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's zoom in here, and you can see a little bit on this projected path. And you can see it looks like Florida is going to get spared for a direct hit, but what Florida is going to see, and they're already seeing, is some beach erosion, which can lead to some flooding. Get these heavy showers coming through. That can lead to some flooding too. High tides going on, so it doesn't give that water any chance. It has nowhere to go. So if you live along the coast over here in Florida and Georgia, as well as the Carolinas, you still have to keep a watchful eye. Charleston's going to get real close to you guys. Southport, Wilmington, the whole coast of Georgia, or of southern Carolina, South Carolina and North Carolina, the southern coast especially, right through here. You guys might be okay over in Savannah and right through here, but still, you see all these little bays. As this comes up, it's going to fill up these bays in here, and a lot of beach erosion. It's a slow-moving storm. You can just see for yourself. It's going to get caught up in these areas. Evacuations are going on in the Carolinas right now. But you look in here. Now, I'm not familiar with this area. I've never been to the Carolinas. But you can see in through here. This is a big old bay right here. Well, if you get a storm coming up that's rotating like this, it's just going to dump stuff into these bays. And dump and dump and dump. And you're going to start to get wave action. It's going to start to fill up. So now when you get rain inland, that usually comes down these rivers and drains out to the bays and into the ocean with that storm surge, even though it could only be a foot or two, plus you get that wave action, it's just going to fill up these bays. These rivers aren't going to have anywhere to go. So you may live over here in Vanceboro. You could see flooding there just because that river can't empty as the rain starts coming down. So it's just interesting when you look at this terrain to see how it is. Same thing up here. So if you live along these islands, I'd definitely be gone already. I don't know how many homes are out here, if any, but it's going to be a dangerous situation. Even though it's a Cat 2, you kind of get the feeling of, oh, it's only a Category 2, 110 mile an hour winds. How bad could it get? But it's that wave action that really gets you. So again, there's the update, 110 mile an hour. This is a video from our friend Jim Cantori at the Weather Channel. I'm not going to play the video, but you can see it's a house, and you can just see this is what beach erosion is. Ocean waves created by Dorian occurred last night at high tide. So you get a high tide, and the next one's around 3 p.m. today. That's probably Eastern time. So in the next 3 hours here, they're going to get another high tide. then you're going to get that wave action coming in from that storm like we were talking about, and then any rain showers on top of that. It's just going to help deteriorate the beaches along the coast there. So this is the interactive radar map. As you can see, I was just checking wind speeds. There were a couple 20s along the coast. I've got this thing crawling along. Let's speed it up here. And you can see again on the northern side of the storm, a lot of strong cells, and they will start to make their way in, especially as it gets further north. Like we were saying, wrong image, as it gets further north, you know, it's going to get closer and closer to the coast. It's going parallel to the coast. The next big thing to watch is this turn right here. Is this turn going to happen right here? Most of it stay off the coast, or is the turn going to be a little further north? Could it turn? It could turn south, further, a little southern of this point, and that would help tremendously. But you just don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, like we had to wait and see with this turn. Fortunately, this turn was much later. It didn't go into Florida, so thank God for that. But if this turn doesn't happen soon, then, you know, even Savannah could be seeing some serious action. So you can just see it's just churning away out there. And this is the outer part of the hurricane, making its way pretty dang close to Florida, that eastern coast of Florida. So that's why they're seeing all that really intense surf, and you're getting your beach erosion in there. Yeah, just not a good situation. Here it is on the satellite view. Pretty long loop here. You can see it finally started to move. It was just wobbling, went north, went west. And you can just see it's a big storm. It's pulling in more, or throwing out, I should say, to the Caribbean there. Yeah, so I'm just watching the cloud tops here and over in here. It's definitely affecting this area. So you can see this eye does not have to get close for it to affect. I mean, you can see, I don't know how many miles that is out that cloud shield, but it's going to affect things. Now here's the tropics overall. You got Tropical Depression 7, which we'll look at in another image here, and then you got Dorian, a disturbance there, a disturbance here, and then this is the last wave to come off the coast of Africa. That's pretty far south. It may stay south and affect, you know, South America, maybe Central America, and not go into the U.S. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But here it is, Tropical Depression 7. And there you see it, 35 miles an hour, 1,004 millibars. It's moving west at 7 miles an hour. So this is going to be a big rain producer, maybe a little bit of storm surge, but more so just wave action is what's going to hurt in Mexico here, and maybe southern Texas. We'll see. The path is just to go straight like we saw. Where was it? Sorry. Oh, it's on a different map. But that path is projected to just go straight into Mexico there. And here it is. Here's the path. So you see it heading on out. It's going to head off to the west-northwest. So Brownsville, you might see a little bit of something. If it stays on this path, you'll probably stay out of it. But you can see it's pretty wide. I mean, the cone of uncertainty, this is what this is. Further out in time you go, obviously, the further the uncertainty is. But tropical storm warning up for the eastern coast of Mexico there. Now here are all the watches and warnings for Dorian. You can see there's been hurricane watch now all the way up. Zoom out just a little bit, all the way up to Norfolk, Virginia. So even those of you up in Virginia, live along the coast, be prepared to get out of the way here. You could probably wait maybe another day or so. These are probably 12-hour time frames. It doesn't say. Yeah, so let's see when it's off the coast of Virginia here. That's 8 a.m. on the 6th, so 3 days from now, a little less than 3 days from now, so 72 hours. So you could probably wait another day, wait till it gets in here. We'll see what it does, maybe even around in here. But start getting prepared now, because you may have to get out of the way of this thing. If it comes in like this, then it's going to affect the whole state, because it would probably come in like this. Gives you lots of rain, which, again, it's still going to be affecting, still going to be throwing water inland, so that rain's not going to have anywhere to escape. So you see the watches and warning. If you live anywhere along the eastern seaboard, anywhere along the eastern seaboard here in the Carolinas, still in parts of Florida, Georgia, into Virginia, keep a close eye out. I know they're doing some evacuations in the Carolinas right now. They've already been doing some for the last 24 hours, but you need to get out of the way, especially if you live along the coast, even a little bit inland, because those rivers will start to fill up as that storm surge just pushes the water off to the west and doesn't let those rivers drain. Even small creeks, if you live by them, they can become, rivers, essentially, pretty quick in situations like this. So here it is once again. It's a pretty big storm still. I know it doesn't look very impressive. The eye has kind of filled in on the satellite loop. Looks like the eye is filling in, which is a sign of weakening. But again, it's out over open water. Even though it does have some drier air mixing in, it's out over warm water, so it's probably going to maintain this strength. They're not really talking about it gaining any strength, but you still have to keep a watchful eye on this. So that's the latest from now. If you guys are interested, I have all the information for emergency management in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas. I have things for a FEMA app, links to Red Cross if you want to donate and help out. If you are interested in getting updates as soon as I post a video, just subscribe, hit the bell icon. As soon as I make a video, you'll get it. One other thing I want to mention is down in these islands here on the Bahamas, in Marsh Harbor and Freeport and Freeland, we saw some video out of there, and there was chest-high water. People still had to evacuate because the water is still coming in. Storm surge there was just incredible. The damage is just incredible. They estimated 60,000 people are going to need some food. So, they'll get some help down there with the Red Cross and other organizations, but it's a real bad situation. The pictures video is going to keep coming out, I imagine, as this storm continues to move out, and you're just going to see damage like you've never seen. It's crazy. They did have a wind gust 220 miles per hour. 220 mile per hour wind gust. That's just insane. That's just devastating. That and the storm surge and the rain for hours and hours and hours, days really, just horrible. So again, there's your update as of about 12:30 Eastern time, and I'll be back later with another update. Take care.